This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
Totally, yes.
It's an absolute riot, and the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time.
What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
It's Wednesday Addams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2, begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
Heather is a nurse practitioner from United Healthcare.
We meet patients wherever they live.
During a house call, she found Jack had an issue.
Jack's blood pressure was dangerously high.
It was 217 over 110.
So they got Jack to the hospital and got him the help he needed.
He had had a stent placed in his heart, preventing a massive heart attack.
If it wasn't for my guardian angel, I wouldn't be here.
Hear more stories like Jack's at UnitedHealthcare.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan, area, limitation, and exclusions apply.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
And it's going to happen really quickly. All right, and we're back with 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, Criminal Mischief Nation, to another bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Branden. Here, as always, with the great Carolyn Osorio. We're lucky to have her, even though we don't deserve her. Carolyn, how are you?
You're wearing your New York Yankees. You're ready
I
to
am.
rumble. I can tell you're ready to ready to do battle.
Well, we're having a really good start to the season. It's an off day today, but I'm thinking about them. And let's actually check the standings. We're a half game back. Baltimore. We have more wins, one more win, but we're 2 back in the loss column.
This was actually just an opening. This was not an opening.
Bring
for
up the
you
Yankees.
to
I'm gonna run with it.
Nerd out, okay?
There are only a couple teams. There's one team with more wins than us in Philadelphia, just a couple hours south. If you're familiar with
the real. How are the Mariners doing? How are the Mariners doing?
Are they still a team? Hold on. I don't know if they're still a franchise. They are actually.
Gosh.
No, they're doing great. They're first place in the West.
Mm-hmm.
They're in first place in the West. Yeah.
There we go.
So, you have a good week?
Had a great week. Had a great Mother's Day.
Yes. Jeez. And a big note for a belated Happy Mother's Day to you. You have like 11 kids, right? So definitely
20. Yeah. They were all on the teat, and it was great.
Great. No, Happy Mother's Day. I hope you were treated like the queen that you are.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. I had a great day. I made my mom lunch, a special lunch for her too. So that was nice. We went and watched my son's soccer, and he did great. And just all the things that I like to do. So
good.
It was good. Good times.
Good. And everything else is all right?
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. Good week. Good weekend. Great Mother's Day. The whole breakfast in bed, and then all of the cards and all of the, then went out to dinner. It was my my brother-in-law's 50th surprise birthday party on Saturday night, which was a lot of fun. I wrote a speech where I roasted him, which went over pretty well. Yeah, it was great. So
in your head, it went really well.
It was received well by the crowd, and it was dirty. It was he's like a brother. I mean, they live across the street. Across the street. So it was great turnout, tons of people, great food. His wife, my sister-in-law, is an event planner. So when she really
does it right,
digs her heels in, she does it right. It was great. So that was fun. And then, work and things are good. That's all. So
good.
Normal stuff. Looking forward to summer. And I have some family coming out. So yeah, it's been a busy time. It's been a really kind of stressful time, but coming out of it. So everything's good. Everything's good. So I very much enjoyed this episode. I was not expecting whatever profile I had worked up in my head. It wouldn't be a full bird colonel in the Air Force.
I know.
At all.
I don't think it would be anybody.
It really wouldn't be, for some reasons that we'll touch on that you brought up like earlier. Because my dad's career military, Air Force. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I heard that, I went, well, could my dad like do stuff like this? And forget whatever, proclivities towards, cross-dressing or whatever might blow your skirt up, but just the murder kind of stuff, even for an organized killer or serial killer, okay, that's still too much chaos in my mind for a career military person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who thrive on discipline and organization and schedule. And my dad's got a haircut every 2 weeks for his entire life. You know what I mean? Like everything with his car being clean and it would just, that would be the last person. And even though you left some breadcrumbs about the woman being a corporal and the woman, and how close it was to the Air Force Base and all that, I'm like, there's no way it's a military guy, right? Because it's too, I want to figure out, of all of the thousands of American serial killers, how many have military, like career military backgrounds that have risen that high in the military to be a fucking colonel.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
I mean, I think that's what is terrifying and fascinating and horrendous about this whole case.
And he started so late.
Right.
Started very late in life. Normally you're in your early to mid 20s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is what the book on these types of killers are.
Yeah.
And he started late, and then something just fucking flipped in his brain. He's like, I gotta do this. This is who I am, and I gotta go do it. And there was such shame around it, like I mean, if he had just, imagine if he didn't have that military kind of just shell around him that was telling him that it's not okay. Imagine if he was like, you know what? I like women's clothing. Okay. I'm going to go find a group where I can be myself, and I'm going to be honest with my wife about it, and maybe she'll be cool. Maybe she won't be, but hey, at least I won't be living a lie. I'll be living a truth. And here we go. And then maybe he wouldn't have done all of this fucking crazy shit.
Yeah. I mean, for me, him wearing women's underclothes wasn't that wasn't the reason why he escalated, like, at all. It was the sexual violence, and that was just the beginning entree, the beginning,
right?
Entree, appetite. I mean, I don't even want to make a food reference because it's disgusting, but like, it just is really terrifying.
That was the first step. That was the first box that he needed to check.
Probably. Right. And
I think, okay, so forgive me for that last thing, because so he was more of like a Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs than like a closeted crossdresser. Like he had murder in his brain.
Oh my God, yes, I think so. He's more like the werewolf butcher. This is the terrifying profile of.
But to start in his 40s like that?
Well, what I think happened was he had the opportunity to get away from his wife. And so
they were living right.
They were living apart, which, I mean, was that by design? Him having he had the life of like this long-term committed relationship. He was the commander. He was, all of those things, but inside he was, just this evil person. And for me, it's like when he was doing the confession, it was almost more terrifying than. I've listened to so many interrogations where it's like, the guy, everybody knows the guy did it, and the detectives are like, listen to him talk about him growing up, and he loved Dairy Queen, and then it burned down, and then
Dairy Queen's awesome.
Just that whole thing of like having to hear all of these like pointless, And the person doesn't say, well, why am I here? They sit there and talk for hours and hours. And the guy never says, why do you have me come in here? Because he knows why he's there. They know why he's there. He doesn't know what they have. And it's this dance. And usually you have this cop who's like, does the good cop and then the bad cop. And it's just outrageous and like really like in your face and stuff like that. I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying like in a lot of the interrogations that I've watched. And with this, it was such they were almost like two mild-mannered, very cerebral, intellectual men. And, this would go down. This interrogation is like one that, will be played at Quantico, and this is how you do it. This is how you do it.
The cop was never not in control of that interrogation.
Oh, absolutely.
He always knew where it was ending up. And whether or not the guy was going to cop to it or not really didn't matter because they had him dead to rights. They had, yes, it was circumstantial evidence, maybe, but they had the tire tracks, they had the boot tracks. There are other cars with those tires. There are other people who own those boots, right? Like a good defense attorney could have, found reasonable doubt in front of a jury, I think, maybe. But the guy was like, well, shit, if they know all that, he had to fully perv out and leave his DNA in that teenager's bedroom. So that probably, he went, all right, if they know all that, then they know this. And that's probably when he knew that they had him. So
I think that what was cool is that they were thinking, because if they would have had a different detective with a different style, that could have gone totally a different direction. You got to get that person to the place where they will confess, because there's a lot at stake here. They want to find Jessica. They want to
the location of her body. You mean
the location of her body? Yeah. They want to get a confession from this guy. There's so many reasons why they would want to do that, and he could have immediately lawyered up. And so, part of it was his hubris. Like he knows, like once the way that they set up the trap, it's like. He knows once they're like, okay, the tire treads and your shoe and your boot print. And then right now we have investigators at your house. And it's like, that's when he knew, okay, you're going to find everything. And there's no way that I can explain this away.
They're going to find the flash drives. They're going to find all the pictures. They're going to find all of his underpants, trophies, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, it's funny, we pre-gamed a little bit about this. It was interesting. It's you seemed to be more disgusted or be more personally kind of offended by his peeping Tom panty raid kind of stuff more than the murders. I only say that because you gave a lot more time. You gave almost 4/5 of the podcast to all of that stuff. And then I didn't even know how the murders were committed until I heard him describe it in his confession. You didn't tell us. Okay. But we knew about him posing for pictures. We knew about him stealing how many hundreds of pairs of underwear. We knew about like all of that. So what gives?
I mean, the reason it was, subconscious, obviously, but like, I mean, the murders are horrendous, and part of me feels like I can't even think about what they went through, especially knowing that they were videotaped and that that he wanted to relive this over and over and over again. So I think part of me, I just couldn't go there with that. Just thinking of that, tell my mom that I love her. I feel like it's almost worse that the mom heard that, because she's going to be thinking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's worse. And so I had to compartmentalize that. But then to me, it is so terrifying when guys do this, and it's like a woman lives in fear then. Like that teenager had to live in fear and probably will never be the same as a result of this guy going in there. And that's part of what they get off on. They get off on the idea of this is going to scare them, and the power of it, and like that, the thing with the dildos written on the computer screen, and you live alone. And it's like, how do you live alone again after that? Like, how do you, like, that just is like, this guy didn't give a shit about anybody but just getting off. getting off. And that just like,
do we know that, did he admit that he stuck around in that house?
I don't know.
Because he obviously heard them. Was he inside? Did he have his fucking ear to the door outside? You don't know?
You know, the confession was like 6 hours, and there was like 2 hours, and so I don't know. He could have said that in there, but he probably did. I mean, he didn't leave anything. And the way that he would describe things, it was almost like so compartmentalized and like no emotion. And there was no reason why he you know, he was just saying what he did. You know, it wasn't like he was withholding the emotion because I don't know. It was just the weirdest confession ever. It was like somebody who just, you know, he said, she was a nice girl. I didn't know any of these women.
Right.
You know, you're just at the grocery store and you're doing your groceries and you have no idea that someone's following you. Yep. And it's like this random event, you know, she's working out on her treadmill and some jackass drives by, and it's like, yeah, it just is. It sucks, you know?
Wow.
I mean, a total understatement. Let me just say.
Shout out to Astapro for sponsoring this episode and providing us with free samples. This morning, I literally woke up with a runny, stuffy nose. In fact, it was so bad that my son came in and said, "Hey, Mom." And as I was talking, he was like, "Why is your nose whistling?" If you're a longtime allergy sufferer like me, then you'll know why. The whole one nostril plugged, the other one nearly so, except one little pocket of breathing space that sort of whistles as I breathe. I don't have time for this, and neither do you, which is why I use Astapro, and you should too. Astapro is a first-of-its-kind nasal allergy spray. It is the fastest 24-hour over-the-counter allergy spray. It starts working in 30 minutes, while other allergy sprays take hours. And Astapro is the first and only 24-hour steroid-free allergy spray. And Astapro delivers full prescription strength indoor and outdoor allergy relief from nasal congestion, runny and itchy nose, and sneezing. A combination that's not so fun. I use Astapro whenever my nasal allergies flare up, and I'm always so amazed and grateful at how fast I am back in the game, which is why I trust that Astapro always has my back, and more importantly, my nose. Get fast-acting nasal allergy symptom relief with Astapro. Go to astaproallergy.com for a discount so you can Astapro and go today. That's ASTEPRO allergy.com. Astapro and go. Use as directed for relief of nasal congestion, runny nose, sneezing, and itchy nose due to allergies.
No. It's really interesting that the psychological kind of terrorism that people like that engage in, keeping them scared forever. Especially the woman where he left the message on her computer, like, oh man, thinking, was he in the house the whole time? Is he here now? Because I couldn't find him then. Does he have is he watching me? Did he leave cameras or listening devices around? You know, I mean, all of that it's a form of terrorism. That would be really, really fucking scary. But so for him to then graduate from peeping Tom stuff to like rape and murder in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
I'm sure had the cops really, really scared, because you don't get any better, right? That's the book on these people. You get progressively worse unless, you move, you die, or you get arrested. So, so it was what I really, really enjoyed about the episode. I love getting into the police work, just good old fashioned. Let's take a cast of this tire print. What kind of tire is it? There are only 3 types of vehicles where they come stock on these cars. And so, hey, how about this? Put up a fucking roadblock.
I love that.
We'll just put up a roadblock, and any one of these SUVs will stop long enough to look at the tires. And that's what did it. That broke the case.
Because he wasn't even on their radar whatsoever, and probably never would have. And he was actually interviewed because he lived on that lake. And after all the break-ins and the 2 sexual assaults happened, they went door knocking and they actually talked to him. But you know what?
I'm sure that when they when they see him in the car and the tires match, and then they realize where he works, like that's when they went, all right, this has to be the guy. And now let's
and where he lives.
Because of the murder victim, the corporal, the flyer.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, putting it all together, just the expansive, you know, like this is too much of a coincidence. There's no way. Okay, he lives in Orleans. He lives in Tweed. He is the colonel. But like hiding behind that shield, like you could see it when he was even confessing. It was like he had to control the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Are you going to be discreet?
Okay. And he still thinks he's getting out of this. That's the thing. You think
absolutely. I don't want this to stick to me when I'm cleared. Right. I don't want this to like imbrue any of my reputation or any of the pleas. And then later on, he was worried. He almost kind of like not really threatened them, but like, are you sure you want to do this? Because it could undermine the Canadian military, like as a whole. Right. Like, come on, dude, give me a fucking break.
I mean, he just thought that, and if you could see him in these photo ops, like after he'd murdered, you know, Marie, he went and, you know, just acted like nothing. Like he really did not care. He is, you know, whatever the diagnosis that he'll get, it's like he only cared about his wife and how that would affect them tearing up their new house. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't want you tearing up my wife's house. So, all right, I'll tell you about these murders I did because, you know, the house is new.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't care about the families. He didn't care about, he cared about not wanting to tear up the house and to minimize the impact on his wife.
And so you made a point, no death penalty in Canada. You don't seem happy with that. Neither am I. But so he could.
Well, you're like really giving it to me this weekend. You know what?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
This guy doing this to your daughter?
I agree. I just said I agree with you. I'm not happy with it. There's no death penalty
but I'm talking about like, can you imagine?
No.
Your daughter, and I don't even want to plant this in your head.
Oh, it's already there. Look what I do for a living. That's all.
I understand. I know. But I do think about. I do.
You know how methodically I check and recheck every lock and every window and every door and the alarm every night because of you.
I know. But see, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that like that's why I get so, because obviously the 2 women that got murdered. I mean, it was just so beyond like videotaping their fucking last breath that he's going to replay and like get off on. Like that's so like, I don't even know what that's beyond. Yeah. Evil incarnate, evil. Right. But then all the other people, the 80 plus homes that he broke into where young women are having to deal with this and have anxiety and like, you know, they don't want to, anyway, it's just, you know, we need to take it very seriously when these cases come up. And I know that we've talked about this before. And like, you know, when we were growing up, you hear about a peeping Tom and you just kind of laugh. Like, what's up with that dude? You know, like what, it was almost like there was no awareness of the psychology back then, you know, and now it's so... It's behavior that is like, as the great profiler, behavioral analyst Ken Lanning would say, some escalate and some don't. You know, like some of them do and some of them don't.
Do you remember when you first learned what a peeping Tom was?
No.
Okay. I think I can speak for Gen X when I say my first...
Oh, wait, Porky's?
No. Oh, close. For me, it was Back to the Future. Do you remember? Marty's dad in the 50s, George McFly, up in the fucking tree watching a woman undress. And he was like, it's a peeping Tom. And we all went, ha, ha, ha.
Right. That's a perfect point. That's so
right.
that
Like no,
point.
like no big deal.
Yes.
But it's a huge deal.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like I
know that
you're articulating it so well, and I didn't, because
it was in an action comedy.
Right. And it was like, oh, he's a nerd. This is like.
But look at the writers at the time. The writers at the time had a problem. We need Marty to be knocked out and wake up in his future mother's house. How do we get him knocked out? Well, he can get hit by a car. What's a funny way to get him hit by a car? Ooh, let's have him fall out of a tree because his dad's a peeping Tom. They thought that it was funny. And listen, it wasn't mentioned before or since. That little plot point about George McFly was never wrapped up. It was just, he's this fucking perv as a teenager.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And it's never explained, and it's never rectified, and it's never anything. Yeah.
But that guy was very permissive back then, I think. Like, even like I can remember it in high school, the way that the guys acted, and it was just like, yeah, that's what they do. That's what boys do, right?
God, there were so many of those movies that I talked to a buddy of mine, also a dad, and he says like one of his favorite movies growing up was Revenge of the Nerds. Okay, much fun, but the whole third act of that is off. It's revenge porn, right? It's they put cameras in the girls' showers and stuff. They break into the sorority and steal their underpants. One guy dresses as someone else and basically date rapes a girl. Like, it's fucking so weird. And then I'm talking to my wife about it, and she loved the movie Grease growing up.
Oh my God, that was my favorite movie when
she couldn't watch. Her parents wouldn't let her watch the makeout scenes. I went, oh, but they let you watch the end, right? Where it's like,
Olivia Newton-John comes out and looks like a total badass.
Change everything about who you are to get the man that you want.
Okay, I'm sorry, but
no, that's the message. That's the message for girls that watch that movie. Take up smoking.
Still be, sitting there eating popcorn and just be like, oh man, fist bump.
Take up smoking. Don't wear conservative skirts. Wear skin tight pants.
Stud.
Change everything about who you are to get a man that treats you terribly.
You're absolutely right. I can't believe we're doing this role reversal. I know.
Danny Zuko treated her like shit.
No, I know. You're right. You're right.
And
that's why there's a lot of these messages that have to be retrained.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit it. Absolutely.
Yes. If my girls ever see Grease, it will be as an example of how not to behave around a man that you like.
Oh my gosh, just watch out, Tiger. You know what? They're gonna do it to spite you. So I really would be careful. Okay.
I'm 100% serious.
Mm-hmm. When did you decide that Grease was like? When did you decide this?
When I watched it as an adult, I went, why are we celebrating this? Sandy was amazing. She was honest, and she was open, and she was heartfelt, and she was sincere. And Danny Zuko treated her like a piece of shit. Okay. And so her friends go, come on, we'll make him like you. All you have to change is everything about yourself. Change how you dress, change how you talk, tease your hair to the moon, start smoking cigarettes, talk dirty, like all.
Tell me about it, stud.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. Big problem.
Oh my. Okay. Well, you know what? I think it's funny how you take this angle when we're talking about Grease, but when we were just talking about Revenge of the Nerds, you were like, "Oh yeah," and you were like,
"No, it was terrible." It was Revenge of the. Listen, the third act of Revenge of the Nerds was a lot of fun to watch, but as a grown-up, you realized they were criminals. What they were doing.
Yeah,
and any one of those acts would land them in jail today.
I mean, it's really amazing when you look back at this kind of subliminal kind of stuff and you take it in and you don't even realize it. And then it's like, doing true crime and really kind of diving into the psychological profiles. I mean, that's when it's like a aha moment of like, yeah, that felt really weird when this was happening, but it was so accepted and so like, boys will be boys and all of that. And this is stuff that
Sure.
I, have conversations, have with my sons, like what is consent and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And so it's definitely an important message and an important topic to discuss. And
I agree.
You're right about Greece, because Sandy was all those things. And there, this kind of stuff happens where it's like, there's that romanticized, the prince will save me. It was like, well, go save yourself. Women want to be able to save themselves and they can't, so if that was rewritten today, I don't know, I don't, people love Greece.
No one's remade it because of that.
I really? You think that's why?
What's the message? I mean, and listen, again, you'd be entering into a very woke kind of.
Oh, I know, and that would just be awful. So let's just leave it alone.
No, I agree. Listen, I agree. There's been an overcorrection and all that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I totally agree. But I think that's one of the main reasons. People will say it's a classic. You can't do it. It's perfect. Okay, whatever. It's got problems in the third act. Big problems.
It's
big
problems. John Travolta. I mean,
beautiful and amazing and great.
I know.
Olivia Newton-John. I mean, stunning, statuesque, and beautiful, and sweet as the day is long.
Did you ever watch Xanadu?
Love Xanadu.
You loved it?
I loved Xanadu. Yes,
really?
I loved Xanadu. Roller skating, the graffiti on the wall.
Like it got completely panned. I loved it too, but it was like
they lack vision. Yes.
That's funny. I thought you were not going to like Xanadu.
No, and I like the lead actor because he was also in one of the greatest movies of all time, Warriors. About the gang movie in New York. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Warriors, you've seen it. You've seen it.
I probably have seen it. Hold on, I'll be on a second.
Yeah. At the end, the guy with the beer bottles, Warriors come out to play. You don't remember that?
I'll have to look.
Oh my gosh, it's a brilliant gang movie. Basically, long story short, it's in 1979 in New York. New York is a hellscape in reality, and it's all about this this alternate universe where there are these gangs, 9-member gangs from all over the city, and they all have their own turf, and they all meet up because this one mythical gang leader says if we all band together.
Wait, is this the...
Yes, that's it. They said if we band... Yeah, 8 or 9. They said if we band together, we can take over the city. And then something terrible happens at that meeting. This is all in the first 2 minutes. And the Warriors are now in the Bronx, which is as far fucking north as you can get and be in the city. And their home turf is Coney Island, the far end of Brooklyn. Okay? And they've got to get from the Bronx to their home turf where they'll be safe in one night, and every gang in the city is out to get them. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Have you watched it recently?
I watch it all the time. What are you kidding me? I watch it all the time. It's great. You should check it out. Serious. It's a classic piece of 70s cinema.
I mean, I'm looking at the trailer or the movie poster, and I'm not seeing it, Brandon. I gotta tell you.
Oh, really? You can't get the whole movie from the poster? Jeez, jerks.
I'm sorry. Look at it's just okay. We'll see.
You'll see when you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see. You'll see. It's amazing.
Okay.
All right, great. Well, look, that was a great episode. And I like the, like I said, I like the investigative work. I like when something as simple as a roadblock cracks a case.
I think that is cool. Oh, I love it too.
I think that's great.
It's like, because they probably would not have, especially given his position.
Sure.
Of authority.
Did they eventually not need the DNA to get him? He confessed?
He confessed.
Okay.
He confessed. He didn't, he just, he knew he was toast.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, great. Well done. Looking forward to next week. Thank you everybody for listening. That will wrap up this bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Branden. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts, giving us a rate, review, maybe share with your friends if you feel so inclined, and please consider supporting the great companies that support our show. Carolyn, wonderful to see you again. Anything you'd like to add?
I am Carolyn Osorio with Branden Morgan, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe out there.
Bye.
From Cloud 10, Criminal Mischief is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Branden Morgan and myself. Music by Soundstripe. I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.